Today I want to show you on how to do a window regulator on a 2004 Mini Cooper. Of course you can see the window is still in there, but when I go ahead and lift the window you can hear it making noise, but nothing is moving inside of it. So the window regulator has quit working. The motor is turning, but nothing else is moving. So we're going to go ahead and replace the window regulator on the driver's side. That's pretty much, it should be the same as replacing it on the passenger side. But of course, the window, when you receive the window regulator, you purchase it from your local parts store. However you go ahead and purchase it, it's going to look like this. You can have the motor, the cables, and the tracks. So we're going to go ahead and install this on the driver's side. Of course, I got the passenger side as well, but we're just going to go ahead and focus on this one, and replacing that side should be pretty much the same as this side. So we're going to go ahead and start by removing the door panel, in which it looks like it's a torque. So these little holes right here, you have one right here, you have one right here, and you have one right here. And then you're going to need a special tool with a little deal like this to go behind the panel to pop the little clips behind here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The torque bits, you can see right here, that's a T30. So I went ahead and already loosened them. One popped out, but the other one's kind of sticking there. I just usually use a magnet and go ahead and remove the other ones out. And if it doesn't pop out, you're going to go ahead and have to remove it a little bit more. But I would go ahead and just use a magnet. Once those are removed, we're going to go ahead and work around the door panel with this little tool right here. You can buy this at your parts store as well. And you're going to pop those clips. Alright, with this screw removed, you have to ensure that you got any other hidden screws on this door panel before removal. You also have one more screw that's behind the little reflector that sits right here. So you always have to pay attention to any screws that might be hidden behind it, and there's none hidden behind here. So we're going to go ahead and get that last screw out. Then the door panel should be able to pop by the clips and lift straight out, because the clips that's on the top side right here are facing this direction instead of upwards on a normal vehicle. So let's go ahead and get that screw done. It should be ready to come off. All right, with those 3 screws removed, we're going to go ahead and start removing the clip process, but I wanted to show you, some people would go ahead and pry this open. You don't want to go ahead and pry this open because you got clips that hold this door panel to this door. You break those clips, you're going to have to replace those clips. So that's why they developed this little tool. But I just wanted to squeeze inside here so you can kind of see what we got going on. See it? That little clip right there is what you got to pop from the door panel. So those little clips wrap this whole door all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and pop those clips with this little tool right here. You're just going to locate them and pop them straight out from the door. And while I was in the process of removing the clips, I couldn't really squeeze this guy all the way in there. So what I had to do was I went ahead and put a screwdriver in there to kind of breach it open, and I was able to get this thing behind the clips itself. So really you're trying to get it back here like that. On my light. There they are. You're trying to get it behind here and pop it out. Once I was able to pop it out, it just was one after another, after another, after another. And they pretty much popped out. Now that it's loose. Alright, so after all the clips were removed, the door is actually held on by these little clips right here. So like most vehicles, you would remove the door panel lifting straight up. But on this one, you pull straight out. And it locks in these little holes right here. It's all the way around. So now that that's out of the way, here's the window. And there's a regulator bracket. That one should be on the other side, right there. There's your cable. Looks pretty dry rot. Yeah, separating. So we're going to go ahead and start the removal process. Of course, it looks like it's all held on by Phillips screws. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other window regulator and lay it. Another one should be right here. Yep, right there. So I had 10 millimeter. So usually I like to install these window regulators with the window all the way up. But this one might have to do it halfway. I'm going to lay tape on here to hold it up for me. So I'm going to go ahead and start unbolting it. Oh, the window does work. So now that I have it right here, it's a good place for it. I'm going to go ahead and lay tape across this whole top side. And that's going to hold this window at least halfway to where I can now access here freely with my hands. So I'm going to go ahead and start the removal of these screws. Regulator placed on the floor so we can kind of get a brief idea on how to get it installed in this door panel. Of course, you know, I went ahead and popped the any plug holes or anywhere you need to be able to access the screws. But I looked closely, and by looking at this one right here, and I see no holes. But up here, spot it right there, that's this screw right there. And on this one, there's no holes right here, but the other hole is right here. So that tells me there's a screw right around here, and if anything, it's going to be behind here. There it is. See that boot, that grommet? We have to access that. So we gotta get a Phillips and remove the screw right here, and one right there, and one in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this unscrewed, lay it outside, get to the grommet back there, and that should access all the ones on here, but bottom, that hole right there, see that? And right there. So those screws are actually right there, you can see it. So to access those, they're right there. So we're gonna go ahead and unscrew that. That's an adjustment deal, so you can adjust it back and forth. But you got one right there, and you have one right there. So we're gonna remove those screws as well, and that should allow us to start the removal of the regulator. All right, went ahead and removed the screws on the bottom. Those are 10 millimeter screws, heads. Got one on this side, one on that side. I got the door handle removed. That's those 3 Phillips screws. Now I'm in the process of removing these 3 screws. They're Phillips as well. But I went ahead and pushed the window back down, and looking on the inside, the window pretty much just rides in these little tracks. You can see that right there. So those are actually on the window as well. And you can see right there. So like whatever's here, we're gonna have to remove it. I'll show you the window where it mounts to the actual regulator in here is kind of real tight area. So with you loosening the bolts on the bottom, it'll allow you to slide the window as close as possible to the inside of the vehicle. It's gonna allow you some hand room to get inside there and grab, put a deal around here. It looks like they have some type of mechanism to wrap around here for easy access at a factory, but I don't have that special tool, but I do have that tool, and that's just an ordinary little Allen deal right here. And see, that's the size that's on this little deal right here, and it's nothing more. Pops in there, clicks in here, right there, and I was able to remove it. And then grab it by hand and completely remove it out. As long as you can break it loose, then you just remove it by hand. So that's the first one that's out, and then I need to remove the second one, and that one's kind of going to be a little harder because the window's now sliding down. You might have to place a piece of 2x4 or something in there just to hold it up where you can get that one out. So I'm going to go ahead and get inside here and remove that side. Alright, this is the inner side, closest to the car itself. I went ahead and just got the tool in here, broke it loose, and you can clearly see I can remove it pretty much with the one finger. And you have to pop it forward and slide it out like so. So this is the deal that holds the window. Now that it's separated, it should come apart like so. See that? So now the window is pretty much ready to come out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the window back up and throw some tape back on there to hold it in place until I get the new regulator in here. Then we'll slide the window back down. All right, with the window now taped in position so it doesn't slide down, the window regulator has these clips. They're kind of in a hidden area, and as you can see, they snap in and then pop in place. So you're gonna have to pull from the bottom, pull it outwards, and it'll slide down. That way when you're pulling on it out and it's holding, it's not letting go, it's because of these little clips. If you force it enough, it should pop out, but I mean, you can easily stick your finger in there, find it, and just pull it forward and it'll unclick itself out. So, the regulator should be pretty much ready to come out. Should have a wiring harness on the motor itself, and it's probably behind this little grommet right here. Maybe. Alright, while removing the regulator, also notice that this cable right here are snapped in this little hole right here. So you can use a pair of needle nose and squeeze them and push it through. And also one is located over here. So they pretty much hold the wiring to the deal. And you just go ahead and squeeze those two together and it should slide right in like so. That way it doesn't hurt anything. It falls right in. Now it should be pretty much ready to pop out of there. There's one side, like so. And the other side should follow. Motor cable all broken, so it just makes it kind of difficult to even pull stuff out of there. Actually mounts on the window regulator. Of course, we know the window sits in these little grooves right here. You have a little deal that sits right here where these actually screw into on the inside of the door and lock it in place. The screw that's actually right there, it's a number 5 as so right there. So I know this is a 3/8. I use a 1/4 inch ratchet to get inside there because it's a very tight squeeze, but just wanted to share with you it's actually a number 5. So let's go ahead and get this installed. All right, got the regulator out of here. Remember that little clip that was right here? That's the wiring harness right here that's plugged into the motor itself. And all you do is squeeze the ends right here, and it should slide right out. There's a little locking clips right there. You have one on each side. Squeeze them, slide out. But it makes it easier. You just pop it out, it loosens it up, and also the cable rides behind it. So if you don't remove it, something's gonna get damaged. So make sure you remove that clip. Makes it easier to pull it out this direction, pop it out, and then pull the cable out from underneath it. So, and then we got the old one out. You can clearly see it's broken. And it's fallen in all different types of pieces. So let's get this hunk of junk out of the way. Then we'll get started with the fresh and the new. Fresh and the new. Now again, this one is going to slide in the same way that pretty much the old one came out. Collapse together, slide it in this direction, slide it in that direction, and open her up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this little guy, pretty much collapse it together like this. And it's going to slide in like so. I went ahead and got the regulator sitting in there. Got the bottom sitting in the exact area. Now the little bracket at the bottom, I had to slightly bend that upwards. This little bracket right there where my finger's touching. Hard to see it. That little bracket. Bend it up because this is at an angle. So I had to bend it just very little just for it to actually sit in there and the bolts actually aligned right. But I want to leave that loose because to put this window back in its spot, I want to be able to make sure I have enough room. And of course, I'm going to have to raise this up at least halfway to where I can access it, like right here. This is the largest part of the door, the inner door, the most room you can put your hand to put that deal in there. Same goes with this side. I went ahead and put the bolts on the top. That's what holds the top of the bracket. Of course, they are loose. They're not tight, they're loose, only so I can have wiggle room and move around. But of course, these 3 Phillips screws, I went ahead and bolted that down because that's what holds your motor. So, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and remove the tape and lower the window right on the brackets. Those brackets right there. And once it's there, we'll go ahead and raise the window up, and I'll go ahead and put the deals on. And I placed the windows back in this little grooves. You can see right there, sitting in that groove, and of course, it's sitting in that groove. But I don't have the screw on the top side yet because it's in a very tight area. I'm gonna have to raise it. Went ahead and pop the key back in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and raise the window a little bit. Looks like it worked pretty good there. A little bit more. All right, now I'll be able to access where the big deal goes in, right here. Pop this little guy back in there, and then tighten her down. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in right there, and pop the other one. That goes right there in place, actually, right there. Very tight area. Gonna do the same this side. got to do is tighten her up, and then we'll go ahead and pop the bottom bolts in. Those are 10 millimeter, of course you get it from the bottom side. So let's go ahead and tighten these up. Grab my Allen tool, because it's in a tight area. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten her down. Same with this side. All right, went ahead and got her tightened up. Kind of very tight squeeze. So you gotta get a ratchet and an Allen tool and get way up inside here and tighten it. Here and over there. It's very tight, and I can't even get a torque wrench in there to even torque that. So I tightened it as much as I could, as if I was removing it. When I went to remove it, it was tight too. So I gave it just as much torque as when I went ahead and removed it. So with those out of the way, you got the bolts at the bottom now to go ahead and do. There's little tabs on the bottom. If you notice, you can see a little tab. That slides into the plastic part. So right here, there's a little tab here and one on the other side. You pop those into the little tabs and you go ahead and come from the bottom with the screws. That's 10 millimeter. So you go ahead and tighten that up. Same goes with this side, right there. So make sure the tabs sync together, and then go ahead and pop the screws in there. Once you do that, you can go ahead and tighten her down. Now that that's out of the way, you got your little clips. Remember on the other one, you could go ahead and raise the window all the way, but you're pretty much done there. You go ahead and tighten it up. And this side, raise the window. I'll turn the key on. Get that out of the way. Right there. And go ahead and all your little clips, harnesses, you know, pop all those back in place. So you got your clips up here. Should have a little clip right there. See my hand? All the new one comes with new little clips. So you just pop them where they go. So this one I gotta kind of slide, move it, maneuver it, but it's gotta go up here. Yeah, that little guy slides. Pop it in place. The harness. Pop this one back in place. Everything that was removed around it, so go ahead and get those clips back in place. All right, I wanted to share with you guys, when I got these new window regulators, everything fits just right, except the clips that they give you right here. This is one I pulled off the driver's side. Looks like that. This is supposed to be the replacement, I guess, on another year. This is a 2004 Mini Cooper that I'm working on right now, but per the computer, it says this is the one that's supposed to fit it. When I removed the clip earlier, there's supposed to be a deal right here that's same color, but it broke when I went to remove the old assembly, thinking that the new assembly was just going to snap in place, but I was wrong. So there's two holes in the door itself. One for this little clip to slide in, so it pretty much goes in a hole and then locks in the other hole right here. So what I did is, because I broke it, I didn't want to, I went on the internet trying to find a replacement, but I didn't find no luck, unless probably I go to a BMW dealership, but that probably cost $20 for one clip. So I went ahead and just bought this little pack right here. It's a Dorman, part number 963007, D as in Delta. And so what I went ahead and did is I pretty much plastic welded, epoxied these little retainers on the area in which that deal is supposed to actually come out of. So I can see, as you can see on this one, you can see the white little wings on there. That's where the original was sitting. And I went ahead and just plastic welded it exactly where the original actually was supposed to have been. And I tested them, and these fit snug and fit. And then I popped it back out of there. It's in a very tight area to even get to this. So I wanted to make sure that whenever I do epoxy the one on here, I wanted to make sure it was right. And this number, can find this at pretty much any parts supplier. Should have this. Dorman is a big company, big supplier in parts and replacement deals, and this fits perfect. So as soon as this is done curing, I'm going to go ahead and snap them in. I'm going to remove these off, and I'm going to snap these in their place, so that way there's one here, and they tuck where the bottom, when the window's all the way up, they're pretty much right here. And if you don't have those in place, the window will catch this. That's why it's very imperative that you get these installed. So I'm gonna wait until those are officially cured 100%, in which it's 5 minutes set time, according to this, but it's 1 hour full cure. So right there, cures in 1 hour. So as soon as the hour is done, I'm gonna go ahead and pop them back in place and test it out from there. All right, guys, on this area that's on the inside of this door, with that little clip that we went ahead and epoxied to the deal, the upper cable goes in the upper rack, and then the bottom cable snaps in that hole right there, and then when you crush it together, it locks it. So when you go to lock it in, you want to make sure that you're right around the area in which your holes are there. So see the holes? It's kind of hard to see it, but that's the hose in which that little tab gets pushed in the bottom one, and the top hose, that little bitty deal right here, locks into. So I got another one that's on the other side. I went ahead and kind of markered right here. That's where the hole is on the other side. I kind of visually or felt it from the back side, and I marked it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and snap this one in there, and then it should lock into the door panel, and then we'll pretty much be done with this door. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that right now. All right, I wanted to show you guys what the finishing product looked like. After the little tab heals and cures, you can clearly see it's a perfect fit. As long as you put that little retainer exactly in the center where it broke off, you should have no problem finding the hole. It locks in from the top first, it goes into a hole on the top, and then you push the retainer clip into the bottom hole and it locks it in place. You got one side and you have the other side. So you have both sides. Right over here on this side. Just like that. And that's what you want it to look like. And now it's going to be out of the way of the window going up and down. So now with the window in place, it's easy to say that we can go ahead and actually test it 100% now. Let's find the key. There you go. It's flat on top. That's on automatic pull. So as long as I flip the switch, it pulled it all the way down. Now to push the switch up. Boom. Perfect. There's the door. There it is. So now that's all done. You want to go ahead and check all your grommets. Make sure you got all your grommets back in place. There's a grommet that goes right here. And there it is. It gets put back in there. You got your 3 screws. Before those grommets go in though, I mean, I've already went over the screws. Always go over your screws and make sure they're tight. All right? Make sure there's nothing loose or left behind. You got your screws on the bottom, don't forget those. Once all those are done, you gotta go ahead and mount this back up here. You got those 3 Phillips screws. It goes right here. This harness plugs back into this deal right down here, and then it'll be ready to go ahead and put the door panel on. So let's get that done. All right, with the door panel, you have to make sure up on the top, you got the little clips that run along the whole top side. You have to make sure they all line up with the door panel. And then once you get one in line, they pretty much follow suit. So you just start tapping it in until it locks in place. That same goes with the little tabs that run along on the inside. All right. You're gonna slowly tap one in, then they start following suit and they're gonna all go in. Then you're gonna gently tap the door all the way around until they're all snapped in place. Then the door panel's not gonna move. So after that, you gotta grab your torque again, and those screws. Need these three. All right. So you have one on the outside, and these are two inner ones, like that. So we'll go ahead and pop those in using cordless. There, right there, and the last one goes right here. This is the short one. With these last 4 screws and the one behind the reflector right here installed, got the bezel over the handle reinstalled. It just snaps back into place. It's safe to say you can actually close the door and flip the switch. And there it is. Window regulator installed. And she's done. That concludes our video with the Mini Cooper window regulator installation. If you like my video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to follow me, please hit the subscribe button down below. As always, thanks for watching.